Yeah. One time for the city. Yeah. Same aura as before. The smoke got blown.
All right, we are back, Knicks Nation. We are back, and even Spurs Nation, because I know the Spurs fans are in here, man, trying to hold it down as well. We're going to cover, get ready for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks are up 2-0 in the series. Stunning fashion in Game 2, but we already know, Knicks Nation, we already know how the Knicks are, man. Gritty, tough-minded, they're ready to come correct with anything. Now we're back home at Madison Square Garden to take on the San Antonio Spurs for Game 3 tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Let's see if we can extend this thing from not only a three-game win in the series on a streak, but to 14-game winning streak. Let's see if we can do that. With me on the other side is my guy, Jeff Garcia. He covers the San Antonio Spurs for Spurs in Focus. Make sure that thumbs up button for you boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Let's get locked in, man. We're already 2 games through. Got another games to cover right here. Will the Knicks sweep? What's going to happen, man? What's going to happen these next 2 games? We're going to talk all about it right now. Make sure to stay locked in. All right. We are back, man. We are back for another game preview. Jeff, how you doing, my man? How you feeling?
Brutal, guys. Brutal. I am actually stunned that it's 0-2 right now. I'm in shock a little bit. I would be okay with the 1-1, okay, but to be down 0-2, my goodness. And my shock is peppered throughout a lot of things on both ends of the court for the silver and black. Shocked at how Wemby is deciding to only play 2 quarters or a half, whenever he wants to. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect this is baffling. Mr. Clutch Player of the Year. In clutch time in these last 2 games, he scored De'Aaron Fox 0 points in clutch moments. And these 2 games have been clutch. I mean, seriously, it came down to the final quarter, or at least half quarter. I think, guys, man, it's here. The Spurs' lack of experience is showing little by little. I mean, the summed it up was that heartbreaking turnover by Wemby at the end of Game 2. I mean, lack of communication. Steph Castle talked about it after, actually yesterday, by the time you're watching this, or today, said that he just thought that Wemby was going to drive it up, just walk it up and carry this up. And that's where it all broke down. And then what's even worse, because there's Wemby, right? Mr. Generational, face of the league, right? Mm-hmm. This all happened on his watch in a matter of seconds, guys. Knicks fans. Turnover, foul Brunson, game-winning free throw for Brunson, misses the shot. That happened to Wemby in a matter of seconds. So, yeah, it's been painful for Spurs fans throughout the world, especially here in San Antonio. I live in downtown San Antonio, guys, and it's been silence, crickets. No celebration, no nothing, just absolute silence. Although in my apartment complex, there was a collective bleep and bleep, bleep and bleep, 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 coming from everybody's apartment balcony, man. Look, I got to give credit where credit is due. Your Knicks, they came out to play. Did you know, and I did a little homework for you guys, in this 2-game playoff series, this is the first time the Spurs are in the minus in net rating. They're minus 6.8 net rating against your Knicks through 2 games. They were plus like 16.5 versus the Blazers. They were like a plus like a 6 or 7 versus the Wolves. They were a plus 3 versus the Thunder. But now they're in the minus for the first time. From the defense that the Knicks are playing on Wemby, Cat, I never thought I would see a person do damage to Wemby as Cat is doing in this series, at least through 2 games. I'm starting to wonder if the bright lights are getting to them, if there's a coaching issue with Mitch Johnson. I get it. Wemby's your guy. You got to give him the final shot, but Fox was the hot hand. Dylan Harper has been pretty good against your Knicks in the time that he's been playing, but yet he goes away from Harper in the critical Game 1. So there's some coaching mistakes there. I forget that he is a rookie head coach. So there's that. It just all in all, it's just fatigue. Is it catching up to this team? Because technically the Spurs have played more games than your Knicks. Your Knicks had more time off between games before the series started than the Spurs. So is that starting to catch up? I'm hoping these last 2 days of rest recovery will help this team in Game 3. But the way things are trending statistically, man, hopefully it's not a long night for the Spurs fans when the final buzzer goes off, Alex.
Well, Jeff, I mean, I thought, I spoke to you. We broke this thing down. We both had our teams going in five. So I
Yeah.
was, I was, I'm very confident in this Knicks team. With game two, how game two unfolded, that to me was just, for me as a Knicks fan, the most beautiful thing I could see, just because
Hmm.
against even the officiating, and I don't know how you felt about the officiating, but I know from like
Yeah.
the officiating from like
Kind
everyone
of
as
went
you see
Spurs
like on
way.
the
Yeah.
entire timeline, it was very heavily Spurs
Favorite Spurs.
slanted.
Yeah.
And with the work that Tony Brothers was doing, it was an MVP type performance, but not enough to help the Spurs. But look, regardless, the fact that the Knicks were able to overcome all of those challenges and now come back to Madison Square Garden up 2-0 in the series, um, just very proud of what the Knicks have been able to do, man. The defense continues to be the
Hmm.
the shining
Oh
aspect
yeah, for
of what
sure.
this team has just found rhythm in, considering that this is essentially the same team last year that was
Hmm.
middle of the pack defensively and had a lot of
Right.
flaws, but yet somehow this season, beginning of the calendar year, turned it around to be a top 10 defensive team. But now
Hmm.
in this postseason, has just been one of the more dominant defenses possible, and being led by
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh
Yes.
Hart. You got Karl-Anthony Towns just holding it down as a rim
Hmm.
protector and just anchoring that part of the defense. Brunson's been holding his weight. I mean, he
Man.
had 5 steals in that game, and just a heads up play by him, seeing that Wemby was passing it ahead to Castle, who's not paying attention, and get that game
Hmm.
stealing steal as you talked about. But like all of that, that's been the most impressive thing to me on this Knicks entire run in.
Right.
To compete defensively with a top defensive team as the San Antonio Spurs,
Hmm.
like I'm giving credit to what the Spurs are doing, because they made it difficult. They've made it difficult for Jalen Brunson to get into a rhythm from game one and game two. Like I know Brunson had a magnificent fourth quarter performance,
Hmm.
third, fourth quarter performance to put the team on his back and put them ahead. And then obviously he had some clutch plays in the middle
Right.
at the end of the fourth in the second game, but overall not one of his best performances. But nevertheless, this team is being held down by its defense. And
Yeah.
the fact that the
Absolutely.
defense leading to offense is just been a beautiful thing for me to see. And now,
Yeah.
you got the Spurs coming to Madison Square Garden, where it's going to
Mm.
be electric. It is going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
electric. You already know, man. You talk
Yeah.
about it all the time. You lived in New York for quite some time. You've
I
been
did.
between both San Antonio and New York, and you know how the Garden can get. And
So
now
has.
with this team just juiced up, like 2-0 coming back for
Yeah.
game three in Madison Square Garden, the fan base is just going to be rabid. It's
Yeah.
everything. The energy is just good. I'm saying electric, but it's gonna be more than that. Like
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
it's
Yeah.
really not gonna be like, there's no real
Hmm.
great word right now to express how deafening it's going to
Yeah.
be in Madison Square Garden right now.
Yeah. And,
What do you
and
think?
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna ask you, like, what do you think? Like, how do you think? Because we talk about the inexperience of the Spurs, right? And I talked about it on your show as well. How do you think, with the Madison Square Garden crowd, with the inexperience of the Spurs, you're seeing their youthfulness, that is, how do you
Yeah.
think that's gonna play out tomorrow?
Well, I think they're gonna have the butterflies. I think it's gonna be settling in. There's playing in OKC, and then there's playing in MSG. There's a whole other vibe. It's smaller. It's more intimate. Fans are on top of you. It's darker. It has that ominous feel to it. Of course, the history there. Listen, I know what it's like to be there when I had my Knicks fan cap on when I was living in New York City. So I think that's going to be like one of the big things the Spurs are going to have to weather is just that storm. And look, it's already starting. I mean, the game. I don't know if you saw that video where Knicks fans found the Spurs hotel and we're just
Mm-hmm.
giving them the business. Letting them hear it. So that's just a sample of what the Spurs are going to have to endure. And you mentioned the Knicks defense. So check this out. So throughout the entire Spurs playoff run, they're actually third overall in the field at an offensive rating of 115.5. Through 2 games, that has dipped tremendously down to a 102.6 offensive rating. Your Knicks are just bringing it defensively. So now we got to weather that hostile crowd. Like I want to underline hostile, highlight it, put it in all bold letters. It's going to be a very hostile crowd. You got to deal with that defense versus that the Knicks are giving to the Spurs. And I get what the Spurs are saying. Look, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh, darn it, we're down 0-2. Well, series is over." They're not going to say that. I understand that. Okay. But, and I'm trying not to be too much of a homer right now for the Silver and Black, but it just feels like they're right there. And this is where I think that inexperience is showing. You look at some of the numbers and the stats, Alex, and all the fans watching right now. You look at them and they're like, "Oh, the Spurs out rebounded the Knicks, but they lost. Oh, they had fewer turnovers, but they lost." But you whittle it down to those fourth quarter moments, those tight moments. You'll see statistically where the Knicks shine. Right now, when it matters most, when the game is on the line in the first two games, they're outperforming them on the offensive rebounding side, and that's killer for that. They're getting more production from their bench than the Spurs are. Last time I checked, I thought Keldon Johnson was a sixth man of the year. Where has he been? Just absent. Devin Vassell not having the impact that I thought he would have. I think you even picked him as a player to watch heading into the series. So he's been absent. De'Aaron Fox, he showed up, yes, in game 2, but again, when it mattered, when the game was on the line, he was almost a no-show. So these are for me, I just see a lot of self-inflicted wounds from the Spurs in the first two games. The massive turnover by Wemby, missed three-point shootings when it mattered, not securing the rebound. Freaking Josh Hart in game 1 out-rebounded, the 7'4" alien by himself. Those kind of things that I need to see the Spurs do, those 50-50 balls, those hustle stats, those offensive rebound. I haven't seen this in this first two games. They always say, "Oh, is it game 2? Was it a must-win for the Spurs?" Yes, it is. And fast forward to the game 3. I know it's first to 4, Alex, but the Spurs are already at do or die. This is it. This is a do or die for them now. So if I get it. They can run off 4 games in a row versus your Knicks. I doubt it, but it is theoretically possible. But this is do or die for them. They lose game 3. It's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. I don't know if it'll be a gentleman's sweep or a sweep, but it's basically a wrap.
So it's the Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning up for another game preview. With me on the other side is my guy, Jeff Garcia. He covers the San Antonio Spurs for Spurs in Focus. Make sure to give him a follow. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Shout out to all the franchise channel members and Knicks Nation in here. Shout out to Snacks. We got Snacks in here. We got Zach from New York to LA. Shout out to you for being in here, man, on a late night. I know you're on the West Coast, but shout out to you for being out here on a late night. It's 11:47 p.m. I just got off a flight from Texas, actually. I was in Houston with family celebrating some birthdays and a baby shower. So it's tired, but we got to put the work in, people. We got to put the work in, get ready for game 3 tomorrow against the San Antonio Spurs in Madison Square Garden. Shout out to Cowboys in here. Appreciate you for tapping in as well. Who else we got in here? We got Russell Whiskey. Shout out to you. We got all the regulars in here. Shout out to my guys. Who else we got? We got Janelle Turi in here. We got Omar. Shout out to you. We got who else? Who else we got in here? We got Kyle in here. Appreciate all you people for tapping in, man, and being with us for another game preview and getting ready for tomorrow. All right. And for everyone out there, talk about getting ready, especially if you think about going out. If you want to go out and shine and go put on your Sunday best for the orange and blue tomorrow on a Monday night, let me tell you something that you can do to elevate your game, and that's going to GLD. Okay, people? Look, sometimes you're going out there, you want a little rock accessories. People talk about watches, shades, hats. GLD is giving you the necklaces, the gold, the chain, everything that you need, just all the jewelry you need to step it up a level. And the cool thing about GLD, look, you don't got to break the bank in order to go get anything from GLD. They got different price points based on what your income is, so that way you can go out and still feel stylish. Okay, so you don't got to go out and spend thousands of dollars on jewelry. GLD has got you covered by all of that. Okay, and it still has the weight, the shine, the detail. It's not cheap at all. Okay, it's none of that cheap stuff where you can go get from like a candy ball machine, put the quarter in, go get it. No, it's nothing like that, people. It is nothing like that. We're talking about high quality product, and what I respect and what I like most about it is that when you're going to buy GLD, you could just tell by the reviews, the reviews that you're getting a quality product. We're talking about over 2 million customers who've already been rocking with them. We're talking about over 50,000 5-star reviews. When you feel the actual weight of GLD, you feel that chain in your hand, you know it's a quality product. So Why don't you go get something that's quality that fits your budget? Okay. So make sure to go support GLD. And right now, all you got to do is just use our promo code KFTV to get 40% off for new customers. All right. It's a limited time only. So for this time period, just use that promo code KFTV when you go to GLD.com to get 40% off. All right. That's 40% off using that promo code KFTV. Just go to GLD.com and let them know that KnicksFanTV sent you over there. All right. Shout out to GLD. Let's get back to it.
Shout out GLD.
All right, Jeff. So, you were talking about that this is kind of like do or die for the Spurs. And I was going to ask you that moment. All right. Is this like, and I feel like everybody likes to ask that, like, is this a must win game? And look, all of them are must win. We got to talk about, but with the momentum riding the Knicks side right now, you know what I mean? Like the Knicks have now sent 2 big body blows to the Spurs. I mean, there's no home court advantage anymore unless the Spurs somehow come and flip the script at Madison Square Garden, right? But you talk about game 3 being a must win, and I hear you on that. I totally hear you on that. And I think if the Knicks go out there and they take game 3, it's totally just, setting it up for the Spurs to be out there. So what have you seen from games 1 and 2 that the Spurs really need to do going into game 3 to put this into their court?
Thank you. I am glad you asked that, man. I need to see the pace go faster. I know you guys.
That's interesting, man, because the pace has been extremely fast as it's been already.
Okay, I see. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, every time the pace slows down a little bit, it always in favor of your Knicks. Now, I'll give you a reason why I say that. All right. So, and this is where it's a combination. The Spurs not setting a faster tone because that's their bread and butter. They like to run downhill. They love to do that. But did you know in the second half, in the first 2 games versus your Knicks, they're only averaging 4 fast break points? That's it. That's it. That's been like one of their strongest suits throughout the regular season and through the postseason. The Knicks are cutting that off. They're cutting that off. I see. I just need the pace to be a little faster. They're not getting out and running. Now, it's a combination. Again, like I said, the Spurs not setting a faster pace and you guys doing a phenomenal job defensively. And what worries me the most, Alex, is that we haven't seen a Brunson signature game yet. We haven't seen that yet. Sure, he shows up when it matters, money time. I get. Trust me, Spurs fans get that. He wrecked them in game 1 in the 4th, and he did it again in game 2. And ultimately, that's what matters. Stars shine brightest when the pressure mounts, and he shined brighter than Wemby so far. But nevertheless, man, I need to see them establish Wemby more. Mitch Johnson addressed that after the game 2 loss, saying, how is he only getting like 14 touches total? Like, that's just insane. How do you do that? So they're going to figure out ways to get him going. I would not be surprised if Wemby stops trying to hit those threes and establish himself more in the play. Try to get Cat into foul trouble. Try to get OG in foul trouble. Just try to just wear them down in the low post there. And look, part of me thinks too, Alex, and you get your thoughts on this as well. I mean, feel free, and of course, all your Knicks fans to chime in too. For me, you know what it feels like? The Spurs roster, like they didn't envision the Spurs to have this type of run. So like they don't have a roster that's built for a finals run. The Cornet is just absolutely a liability when he's been on the floor through 2 games. You see your Knicks just go at the rim at him and relentless, and they're scoring on him. So you're seeing that as a liability. Those non-Wemby minutes, they're just completely in favor of the Knicks. So I need to see more Wemby, not this first half Wemby, and that's it. Second half Wemby. No, I need to see 4 periods of Wemby. I see a little bit more faster paces. Get those fast break points going. Control the boards when it matters, if it's another tight game. And can we get anything from Keldon? Can we get anything more from Vassell? See, the problem is, Alex, is that the Spurs have to do more than what the Knicks need to do to get W's. I'm just hoping like the odds, because look, y'all guys are due for a loss, man. There's no way. I mean, you're what, a 14-game winning streak in the playoffs? the law of averages got to swing at one point, but your Knicks find a way to win no matter what. And if they smell blood in the water, they'll take it. And Spurs fans have seen this through the first two games. There's been a debate, I don't know if you saw on social media, but among Spurs fans is, have the Knicks grabbed the two games or have the Spurs relented and given the two games to your Knicks? And I can see it going both ways, but at the same time, Spurs, why are we even going that way? Just take care of business. And what's frustrating is that, what was that, a 12-point lead in the first game and then a 14-point lead in the second game versus your Knicks, and gone just like that. So I need them to maintain leads. I know you're all going to make runs. I get that. Your Knicks are there for a reason. But just hang on to those leads, Spurs. And that's where I go back to the inexperience. Perhaps that is the biggest knock right now that's finally catching up to them. Oh my God, we're playing against a group of men, not young up-and-coming Portland Trailblazers team, not a banged up, still relatively young Minnesota team, definitely not a young Thunder team that was banged up. This is a group of men that have been through wars, been through the battles. Bridges, Brunson, Hart, combined with their college days, I mean, they know each other. They figure out stuff like that. Cat, he's 30 years old, man. He's been there, seen all the battles. So, you're seeing, and I think ultimately it's finally creeping up to them, is the inexperience. Now, things can completely change. If they win in game 3, then we got ourselves a series. I mean, that flips the script. But I got to ask you, Alex, as much as the Knicks are in control, being up 2-0 versus San Antonio, is it still kind of a must-win for you guys? Because you have the Spurs down, taking a standing 8 right now. They're not out. They're taking a standing 8. One more blow knocks them out. Is this kind of a must-win for you guys too?
Look, I think every game is a must-win for this team. Up until the final bell rings. You heard Mikal Bridges and you saw his post-game presser, most likely how he just looked possessed. He was just locked in saying every game is 0-0. And I agree with that mentality. Like, look, I can get hyped. I've been saying, like, it looks like the Knicks, like, look, the sweep is in play right now. The sweep is definitely in play where the Knicks are now home. They've been a great home team during the regular season when it comes to victories. The Knicks could easily do that. But it's not going to be the easiest challenge, right? We're not talking about great differentials here. Knicks did win game 1 by 10 points. It was 105-95. Game 2 was, 105-104. Now, I will say that I do not expect the same type of officiating that we saw in game 2. I do expect Knicks get somewhat of a home court advantage. I think the whistle will be tighter for both teams at this point. But I do think the thing that hasn't happened yet is Jalen Brunson hasn't really gotten going. And at some point, he's going to figure it out. And that's the thing. And look, the role players have stepped up on the road. Landry Shamet, Deuce McBride hit some clutch shots. You look at what our starting 5 has done, from Hart, Bridges, OG, and Cat. Like, all those guys are holding
Robinson
it down.
too, man.
And we still haven't had like that Brunson iconic game yet. Like, he had the fourth quarter, right? Got a little bit going in the first quarter and got his plays, like I said, at the end of the fourth in game 2. But like, we haven't really had a full Brunson experience yet, and that is loading. That is coming through at some point, and I do expect it to happen tomorrow, just because relative to him, he had a bad game too. Once again, even with the clutch moments, good defense from him, getting 5 steals, all of that. It wasn't to his standard. I know that's not to his standard. And I know that when it comes to having a bad game, he course corrects for the next game. I'm expecting that to happen. Now, with that said, I do think for tomorrow's game, for how tight it was for game 2, I don't necessarily expect it to be like that, where it was like, because look, man, as much as like I give credit to the Spurs defensively, how they played, just some of the, I mean, we're seeing the clips of Wemby grabbing Jose Alvarado. We're seeing the OG that had to be, course corrected, or we had to waste a challenge on that where it was a clear foul. We're seeing that Mitchell Robinson, who was charged for a tech, they then said today that he got waived of it, so there was no tech there. And like, we're seeing all these calls that were like kind of made. And I know we saw the 2-minute report and they said no call was incorrect in the 2 minutes, but like, like there's stuff during the middle of the game that Everybody saw, from all
Hmm.
fan bases who were putting it out there. So I
Yeah.
don't expect that to happen for game three. So I expect this to be a little bit more even keel. But what the Knicks need to do in order to get that going is that they have to crack that Spurs defense fast and early. This is what the Spurs have been able to do. Because Wemby's such a good anchor defensively and able to
Hmm.
protect the paint, and then you have these guards and wings who are very mobile, very athletic, and fight around screens. It's making it very difficult for the Knicks to drive early. And
Mm.
with that, it's forcing them to become like a tough jump shooting team. And it's just happened in game one, and it's happened in game two. And if they're going to get into a real solid offensive rhythm, how they unlocked it, which is with using Carl Anthony Towns as that bulldozer, really,
Hmm.
just to break it down. And that's really when things started to fall into place. Once Cat got going in game two, then it started to open up the offense. And then you saw the driving lanes in the third quarter
Hmm.
where, guys were just doubling Jalen and then he was kicking it out. I mean, that iconic play where it's just drive, 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 drive and kick, drive and kick, drive and kick, drive and kick. And then you see they find McCall in the right corner three just
Hmm.
to knock down the three. That's what Cat will offer them. So I think in order to get that going, that offense going, if I'm Mike Brown, I've seen that Carl Anthony Towns has been the answer my first two games. So I need to go to Carl Anthony Towns earlier to break that Spurs defense because Wemby's not stopping him, Luke Cornett's not stopping him, and Cat can either do one of two things. He can either, if you're going to put a wing on him like Vassell, he can be at the top of the key, work from the perimeter. He can look over Vassell and be like that quarterback. You can have Brunson, Bridges, OG setting screens to create an open opportunity for somebody. But if you're going to put Wemby on him, and as we saw, he's more than comfortable driving on Wemby. Wemby's only
Yeah,
had
he
one
is.
block,
Yeah.
and so the answer is get Carl Anthony Towns going early, and I think it's going to unlock the offense even earlier for the Knicks. And I'm very curious to see if that happens tomorrow because if that does happen,
Hmm.
then these two games that we saw, the Knicks offense that I've been accustomed to seeing this postseason
Hmm.
might come out tomorrow, and then I'm just saying, man, it's going to be very tough for the Spurs to stop that. As good as
Well,
the defense is,
and I'm glad Alex you brought up about the shooting because on the San Antonio side, we need floor spreaders, and the biggest floor spreader, Julian Champagny. I mean, he's averaging 12 points at least through two games and 7 rebounds and assists, but he's a -8 for the Spurs through two games. He's attempting about 8 3 shots. He's making about 3 to 4. That's not enough, man. He needs to be knocking down more than that. I need that Julian Champagny that had his career night versus your Knicks
I mean,
this
he was
season.
on track for that in game
Yeah,
one where he went five or
but,
six from the field.
but he fell apart. He went MIA. That's the thing, and so I need some floor spreading too. And I want to go back to Dylan Harper, man.
He's been the
He,
toughest cover for the Knicks.
yes, look, I get it. Mitch Johnson, D Fox, that's the vet. He's the co-star of this team. But you gotta ride the hot hand, man. And that's been my biggest gripe with Mitch Johnson. If Harper is cooking, as we saw in game one, you keep him out there, man. It was unforgivable for him to not play Harper late in that game one. You I have yet, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you got your blue cap on, I got my black cap on, but it seems to me that you guys don't really have an answer for Harper. Am I stretching that too much, Alex? Am I pushing that too much?
I don't think it's necessarily not have an answer for him.
Okay.
It's because like he's coming in off the bench, and when he's coming off the bench, it's like it's difficult because it depends on the lineup, right? Like
Hmm.
this goes back to like the conversation we had, whether it was on your show or even here at
Hmm.
KFTV. When I was looking at this matchup, I was not like Wemby is going to be Wemby. He's going
Yeah.
to get his, but I told you I'm worried about the guards, man. Worried about the
Hmm.
guards.
No, you're right.
They can get downhill, and Harper's been able to get downhill. But I think the best guy to cover him would be OG, and I think
Mm.
Hart would be the next guy, just because
Hmm.
physically, for his age, he has kind of like that Brunson esque mentality
Hmm.
and skill set where he just knows how to get to his spots in the paint and use his strength to shoulder guys off and then finish around the rim. You know what I mean? And Brunson, while he can do that and finish in transition, he likes to use his body to create separation to jump shoot. Harper likes to use his body to get to the cup and then finish around the rim. Like he likes to
Hmm.
bounce you off your spot.
Yeah.
Um, the best person to do to stop that would be OG. Now, the one thing I will say is that I think OG is probably like if there's a flaw to his game is that he's not necessarily quick enough to constantly keep up
Hmm.
with Harper's first step, right? So what I'm getting at with OG is that if you're gonna have Wemby out there, Champagny, Fox,
Hmm.
Castle, and then like if you're just having a mix of any of those guards and then have Harper out there, right, with Wemby, you're taking OG potentially away from being a help defender on Wemby to then having him focus on just guarding Harper. And
Right.
I think that's the one thing. It's not that we don't have a guy to stop him. It's that it's a mismatch when he is out there. But to
Yeah.
your point, you know, Mitch hasn't really utilized all of that.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. And look, if numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie. If you look at the plus minus column, you know, you're gonna hear Darren Fox is a +1 through 2 games versus your Knicks, while Harper is a +3.5. The little things matter. This is the game already of the little things matter. And if statistically you have that little bit of a slim edge versus your teammate, well, then Fox, if you want a title, if you want to have that championship ring next to you, you got to make sacrifices. And if it means sitting out, reduce minutes, maybe not starting. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think at this point of the season, it's way too late to flip the script and start Harper over Fox. But doesn't mean he can't play more minutes than Fox. I think you have to do that because you just see how different is for the Spurs and your Knicks defensively trying to contain him when he is out there. He seems to give you guys fit. So that's something I would expect heading into game 3, just more Harper. I think they got to play him max as much as you can. I would say max minutes. He's not a starter, but you got to get him out there as much as possible. And look, I know I'm kind of like raining the parade for Fox. Do you give him a pass? He is not at 100%. You saw in game 2, he was wincing. He was kind of hobbling a bit. He is playing on a bum ankle. That could be hurting him right now. But hey, you guys saw it. Harper is giving you guys fits and Thornside, so you keep him out there too. And overall, Alex, too, I look at this series, man, and you look at the numbers and the stats and how the first 2 games played out. It's almost these 2 teams are almost close. They're close. You got a good big. Spurs got a good big. You got some great dynamic guards. Spurs have young dynamic guards. But you're starting to see the little thing. Like I think Mike Brown is just doing a phenomenal job in the first 2 games. I don't think he's getting enough attention right now. I don't think he's going to go to the players. I get that, but what he's doing to San Antonio, you got to give him. You got to tip your cap to him, Alex.
Got to, man. Mike Brown has been doing a phenomenal job, just pulling the right strings and sitting out the right lineups for guys, just the right concoction, man. Just of these
Mm-hmm.
guys in the blend of players. I mean, he's relied on Landry Shamet. I know Deuce has been like a big guy that has been
Mm-hmm.
part of this, Knicks elevation to
Mm-hmm.
be relevant in the postseason, but he's
Mm-hmm.
really relied on Landry, and Landry has just provided all of that, man. I mean, he had 13 points in game 1, and then last night, was it on Friday night, he had where's it right here? He had another 13 points, and he's been shooting pretty well, man, from the field and giving good perimeter defense too.
Mm-hmm.
He look the Mike Brown is just he knows the guys to go to in order to get what he needs out of them, and I look, I think there's a lot of oversight when it comes to coaches giving trust to a player and
Mm-hmm.
allowing them to be who they are and going out there, whether that be to Josh Hart, Jose Alvarado, Landry Shamet, like for a coach to give you that trust and to say, hey, you're in and out of the lineup back and forth, but to give you the run that you need during the regular season or even to put you back in during the postseason, that builds a guy's confidence. Like Jose Alvarado was on the outside looking in entering this postseason. He was not part
Mm-hmm.
of the original 9, and
Mm-hmm.
now he's back in there, and now he's playing big minutes in the NBA Finals and has been very good, man. I mean, you saw what happened in game 1. Brunson was out for some time for some injuries, going back to the locker room, whatnot, and he held the fort down. game 2, same thing, goes back out there and just give me the energy and the steadiness. Can he be better? Of course, but I still think that he's been doing a solid job this series whatsoever, and just giving the entire Knicks offense just something steady, something useful while he's been out there,
Hmm.
man, just to keep them
Yeah.
afloat. And
Yeah.
I gotta give him credit for that, and you gotta give Mike Brown credit for that, and even drawing whether it's the X's and O's, man. I feel like a lot of it when it comes to head coaches, like you can go over X's and O's left and right, man, but managing personalities is just is a difficult thing. These
Hmm.
all these guys can go execute, man. All these
Yes, it
guys can
can.
go execute,
Hmm.
but the biggest thing that people overlook at times is that this is a confidence game. Like if you're going out there shooting with confidence, playing with confidence, trusting your ability, like that comes from the head coach. And that's something that I could say that Tom Thibodeau didn't give a lot of the players. Like I know he gave the starters a lot of run
Hmm.
and believed in them, but when you have a quick hook for your bench, you're not really building a lot of trust and confidence for them. And Mike Brown's been able to do that throughout the regular
Yeah.
season and postseason, and credit for him for that. Getting back to a question, getting back to a topic though, because you wanted
Yeah, sure.
Harper over Fox, and then
Yeah.
we can wrap up in a bit because I know we got a hard out in a bit.
No, we're
Um,
good. We're good. I got a few more minutes. We're good.
Okay. So with Harper, do you trust his playmaking? If you're
Hmm.
saying sit him out for Fox, because that's the one thing that Fox does give you. Not only
Hmm.
is he like a good ball handler, but he is a guy that can get to his spots, spray it out to the perimeter, find guys in the paint. Would you be willing to take that away?
Hmm.
Because Castle was very turnover prone heavy,
Hmm.
and then you got Harper,
Good point.
not necessarily
Yeah.
the best playmaker, but he can control and kind of get downhill.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to sacrifice something to get something. And I do worry about that. And that's where coaching comes in. If you're going to go ahead and so let's just say Mitch says, you know what, man, these numbers are not lying. We're seeing the film, we're in the film session. Harper seems to be a bit of a thorn for the Knicks. Let's put him out there. But you can yank him ASAP. You can yank him. And I think, why not? You're down 0-2. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain. Put him out there. His decision making is questionable. Yes, it's not as sometimes severe as Steph Castle. Man, it was a funny thing during the regular season. Speaking of Castle, real quick, I'll get back to Harper. Um, Mitch Johnson was asked about Castle and his, like just wild, like hard, aggressive play. He goes, sometimes you give the keys to the car to the teenager and they crash the car. I mean, that's exactly what it is here. You give the keys to Castle and he pushes it so much and it's just frustrating because I'm like, Castle, you don't have to crash out every freaking time you get to the lane. Like, pass out, man. Find your teammates. I think Harper does a little better job at that. If we're going to triage it or rank it, it's obviously Fox. Then I'll be maybe Harper and then Castle among the three guard lineup the Spurs have. But you got to go for broke because like I said it's not a must win for the Spurs. It's do or die for the Spurs. And if Harper can help avoid that die situation, then you do it. Then you do. You got everything to gain by putting him out there. So it's interesting too because we saw a little bit. I don't know if you caught this. He did, Mitch Johnson. He did have Harper and Fox out there for a hot minute in game 2. I wonder if he's going to go to that in game 3. And just for me, that's something to look out for. I just want to see if that happens.
Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning for another game preview. With me on the other side is my guy, Jeff Garcia. He covers the Spurs for Spurs in Focus. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Share this video, people. Let Knicks Nation know out there where to come to get the game preview breakdowns, where to come through for post game. Just get weekly insights. We got it all covered over here, play by play as well. We're all holding it down over here at KFTV, providing you 24/7 Knicks coverage. So make sure to let people know where to come through while the Knicks are in the NBA Finals. And look, let me tell you somewhere to go since we're in the NBA Finals, and that is Prize Picks. Okay, now with Prize Picks, they're back, man. They're back in New York. They were gone, but now they're back and they're available in all 50 states. And the cool thing about Prize Picks right now is that you can get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. So let me tell you something about Prize Picks and why it's so much fun to play. Okay, if you know sports and you think you can understand what the outcome could be for any single game, why not just download this app and go put your money where your mouth is? So all you got to do is just choose a lineup of 2 to 6 players. That's right, 2 to 6 players. And it doesn't have to be all NBA, doesn't have to be all MLB. You can mix and match across all sports. And all you do is once you choose your lineup between 2 to 6 players, You just got to choose the more or less for any stat projection. More or less, okay? And it could be, more or less on points, rebounds, assists, a combination of two, all three, whatever the sport may be. That's all you got to do when creating a lineup for Prize Picks. And the cool thing right now with Prize Picks is that they're giving you early payouts. So if your player gets to a hot start, you can lock in your winnings before the game even ends, which is sick. Now, like I said, all you got to do is just go download the Prize Picks app today and use that promo code KFTV to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Use that promo code KFTV to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Shout out to all the franchise channel members again. I see we got the rhyme animal himself, Chuck D, in the building. Shout out to you, Chuck. Throw a hashtag PE in the chat. Chuck, salute to you for giving us a super chat as well, man. Really appreciate it. The super chat says, crazy thing is that Mike Brown is just as daring where he has drilled 115. That there might be a moment for you. Mitch Johnson is fearful of making a bold off move, especially in a manic MSG coming up. Hey. It's going to be tough. Shout out to Chuck D, man.
Truth.
Shout out to the rhyme animal himself. Throw a hashtag P in the chat, as I said. And shout out to Proven. Shout out to Proven for becoming a franchise channel member. Shout out to you, Proven. Hey, man.
Man, Alex, you got a popular show there.
Yeah, man.
Hearing all that super chats and franchise. Kudos, man. They're smart. They're smart Knicks fans that go to your show.
Hey, man. We try to cater to one of the smarter fan bases in the NBA, man. Not disparaging the Spurs. I know the Spurs got a smart fan base as well, but we got smart Knicks Nation smart, man. We got Knicks fans.
Yeah.
Look, man, we've been watching bad basketball for over 2 decades. All right. So when that happens, what do you got to do? You watch other basketball teams. Then you start to process and learn. And this even goes back to even during the 70s and all that stuff. So Knicks Nation, man, they know what's up, man. They know a good product from a bad product. And that's why a lot of people are so bold right now in what we're seeing on the court right now with this current Knicks roster.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, let's do a few more things and wrap up here. So, game 3 is tomorrow. We already discussed what we wanted to see from this team, like the changes, what's got to happen. What do we expect, man? What do we expect to happen tomorrow? Like outside of all that, I mean, we could talk about it. Madison Square Garden. I'm going to put you in the court. I'm going to put you in Mitch Johnson's shoes, man. You're here for game 3. What are you telling the team right now? What do we got to go out there? First thing you got to do to execute.
Ignore games 1 and 2. They don't exist anymore. Consider this the start of the series. It's 0-0. Very similar to what Bridges said. It's 0-0. It's nothing. You guys have been in this situation before. You were down versus the Thunder, the mighty Thunder, the defending champs, and you survived. You lost 2 in a row to the Thunder, and you won in their gym. You survived 2 double-figure 20-something deficits versus the Blazers, and you survived. So I'm telling these kids, you've done it before. You've been in pressure situations. Y'all won during the playoffs without Wemby on the court. They have the wherewithal. They have the defense. They have the offense. Let's come together and let's just get this W. That's what I'm telling these kids before tip-off too. And just weather that storm, and they'll be all right. I'll give them confidence too, saying like, look, the Knicks really haven't, curb stomped this team. It was a 1-point win for your Knicks in game 2. Both times Knicks had to rally to get wins. So I'm telling these guys, like, you have proven you can get leads on this team and just maintain it and reduce the stupidity and shooting yourself in the foot. Wemby and Castle, but you'll be all right, man. I think that image is going to be burned in my brain until I 6 feet under, Alex, man. I think it'll be a part of my eulogy from somebody. Be like, and then there was that time where he just could have let it go in game 2 versus the Knicks. But, man, just those little things. Do the little things that matter. And I think the Spurs will be all right.
All right. If I were Mike Brown, man, I'd say, look, I repeat what Mikal said. It's 0-0. Go out there, play like it's 0-0. Do or die. Play with that intensity that you're playing desperate, that you're hungry, because sometimes you can get comfortable being up 2-0. And Mikal Bridges was on that Phoenix team that did go up 2-0 and then lost 4 straight. So
Yep.
he knows what it is that, and he's talked about taking the foot off the pedal. But man, and if I were Mike Brown, I'd be like, you can't,
No.
not against
Yeah,
this team.
can't.
You can't. You won by
Mhm.
10 in game one. You won by one in game two. None of this has been easy. Don't look at this as easy. Continue to
Mhm.
go out there and fight. And if I were Mike Brown, I'd say the biggest thing too is that keep doing what we've been doing, fighting defensively, and the offense will come around. The offense
Yeah.
will come around because, and this is what I'm going to say about your Spurs, and if getting back to the inexperience, this Knicks team, you talk about a bunch of grown men, man. We're talking about 28-year-olds, 30-year-olds.
Mhm.
They're all in the between there. They're all in their
Mhm.
primes. We're seeing their brilliance right now and how their heads up play
Yep.
and their execution. Um, the what I would say is that there will be a mental fatigue with San Antonio
Mhm.
because when you haven't been there, we once again we can talk about X's and O's and you could draw up every single play that you want to, but we're not. The players are human, man. We're not robots. We can't go out there and just execute 100% every single time. There's going to be a little bit of a misstep when you're drawing up a play, getting to your right spots and in any action. It's going to happen. But the biggest thing is is your mind mentally
Mhm.
conditioned to work when your body's exhausted? And
Right.
that's what we're seeing right now for the Knicks versus the Spurs. Spurs, the mind's not there when they're working exhausted, but the Knicks, and you're seeing it. Brunson's getting worked, man. Like he's bringing up the ball. Like they've tried to
Yeah.
let Hart and other guys
They
initiate the
get them all.
offense to
Yeah.
allow Brunson to play off ball and not to be relied so heavily initiating the offense,
Mhm.
even with how much Brunson had to work to initiate the offense in game two, more than game one. You see the mental was there way down that stretch. We go back to that same play, man.
Yeah.
The mental fatigue, it will come for the Spurs just because that's the youth of their team,
Yeah.
man. And if I'm
Yeah.
telling them, I'd say, look, continue to work through the process, stay locked in, stay focused.
Yeah.
It's gonna work and it's gonna come through to fruition, man. So that's
Hey,
all.
Alex,
That's
right? I know you're wrapping up soon, and I understand. I just want to throw this in real fast.
yeah,
As much as I've been saying, like, for the Spurs to be wary of a Brunson, going nuclear on the Spurs, are you guys worried that Wemby hasn't been Wemby? And is that something that's kind of hanging over your heads, like crap? Wemby hasn't really had a dominant Wemby performance. That could happen for you guys at the worst possible time in MSG.
sure, it could. And I think that
Okay.
look, I think tomorrow's gonna be another juiced up performance. Carl Anthony Towns have been very good
Hmm.
with some fouls. I mean, two questionable ones in game two, but I think that's the one thing that they'll have to be on the lookout for
Okay.
with Towns. And I think he's been doing a very good job of that. Mitchell Robinson has too. Uh, Personally, I'm like, yes, you can't let Wemby get to his spots, but I think
Yeah.
that the Knicks defense has done a very solid job
Hmm.
of containing him. And look, where I'm looking at most of his shots coming from the free throw line, where that's easy points. You're giving up those points. That means there's a
Hmm.
breakdown in the play, and you're either not moving your feet, you're out of position, you're falling for pump fakes, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. You're contesting a shot way too late. That's what that means to me, man. So look, if you're talking about game two, you took 8 free throw attempts, made five. Five, that means you take away 5 of those shots that he made. You're talking about 24 points. Now that's probably below his standard of
Right.
what he's more than capable of doing. But I'm not like, yeah, you want to make sure to stop him. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm not worried about him, but I think that the Knicks have done a good job. It
Hmm.
might sound like a cop out answer, but it's not.
No.
The thing I will say about this for Wemby and like the like worrying about it is that for Wemby and the Spurs to look good, that means you guys have to be shooting your threes. And
Yeah.
we
They
talked about
haven't
this. The
really.
Spurs are
Yeah.
very inconsistent when it comes to shooting
Hmm.
threes. The one thing I'll say about the Knicks is that their offense hasn't clicked yet, and in the way that it has. And I think that's something, as I talked about earlier, it's due for some point. It's gonna be due at some point, whether it's gonna be in game three or game four. Um, it just hasn't arrived yet. And I would also
Yeah.
say that once again, Brunson's gonna get to being Brunson at some point.
Yeah.
Like you can only
Yeah.
hold him down for so long. Like I remember even 2 years ago against Philadelphia, like he struggled in like game one, game two, figured
Yes,
it out,
sir.
and then he was dropping 30, 40 like there was nobody's
Yeah.
business. So I'm not necessarily worried about Wemby. I think they've done a good job about scoring him. My biggest concern is actually more so Dylan Harper because
Oh,
he
okay.
he's shown that he's
Hmm.
been very tough to cover because he's also
Hmm.
physical. He could draw the foul as well and get to the line.
Yeah.
So that's the guy I'd be more so worried about. It's the guards for me,
Interesting. That's
Jeff.
interesting.
It's more about the guards for me than it is about Wemby. Because the other thing about Wemby too is that you could show that you could push him off his block and make him go
Yeah.
to different
We
spots.
saw that Robinson
Yeah,
Wimby pushing match. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, look, he settled for jump shots, contested jump shots. You know, you want your big man to get to his spots in the post, and he's shown that it's still tough. Like he still has to put on some weight, man, to get to be that dominant force. And I think it's also
Yeah.
tough for him because he's 7'5". He doesn't have that low center of gravity. Where if you look at like Cat and Mitch, they're like well
Yeah. They
filled
got
out,
big trunks.
strong
They
guys.
got
Yeah,
trunks. Yeah.
yeah. So they're all set. But Jeff, I appreciate you coming through, man.
No, anytime,
Appreciate
brother.
this
Anytime.
conversation. Please let the people know where they can find you. If you got any work up and coming, we should be on the lookout for.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you guys, you Knicks fans, for taking it easy on me in the comments. Alex hasn't read anything towards me bad yet. But nevertheless, um, appreciate you, Knicks fans. What I think I love about the two fan bases, there's never been any real beef. I mean, I think we both franchises respect one another, so that's pretty cool. But y'all can follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. You want to do that right now, and please, if you can, subscribe to Spurs in Focus on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button and definitely be appreciative of it. And also, we have a Substack, so we'll catch up on the latest news, notes, injury reports, game previews at Spurs in Focus on Substack. If you can give me a follow/subscribe, that'll be great. And Alex, man, again, yeah, you got to bang up next show here, man. Just honored to be invited to your show.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you for coming through. And make sure to go give Jeff a follow, man. He does a phenomenal job covering the Spurs. He's been doing it for such a long time.
Yes.
Starting in the early 2000s, man. So he knows what he's talking about. So make sure you go give him a follow. It's great to get a different perspective when following these playoffs, man, and just seeing what the opponent is thinking, man, and how they view the matchup as well. So make sure to go give
Alex,
Jeff a follow.
you may have to roll out the therapy couch if the Spurs get the L in Game 3 for me the next time
Oh
we
my
go to the
goodness.
show. Like lay down and take notes. And so, what kind of dreams are you having? Oh,
Look, man,
somebody threw a
therapist.
rock off somebody's
Hold
back.
on one second. Hold on, man. I ain't no Spurs therapist. Okay, I'm a Knicks therapist over here. Okay, that's what people come through for this channel, man. It's group therapy. I can't be
group therapy.
no,
All
man.
right,
Not the
group
Spurs.
therapy.
This is Knicks Nation. We still got to take care of business, man. Still 0-0, one game at a time. I ain't doing none of that, man. You my guy, though. Don't worry, Jeff. You my guy, man. We can talk about it afterwards. But
Afterwards, yeah, we'll do it afterwards.
things got to work out first, all right? Things
Okay.
got to work out. Appreciate you, though, my guy. Thank you for coming through as always.
Anytime.
And Knicks Nation, remember, make sure to go support our sponsors. Go support GLD. Go to gld.com and go buy some jewelry over there. Like I said, they give you all the options for different price points, so that way you can just level up your wardrobe without breaking the bank. So make sure to go over there to go support them. Remember, new customers get 40% off when you use that promo code KFTV at gld.com. Let them know that KnicksFanTV sent you. And then once again, make sure to go support Prize Picks, okay? Download the app, Prize Picks. Use that promo code KFTV to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Appreciate you for that. And make sure, if you haven't done so already, look, man, I don't know if you saw it today. CP posted the queue. There, he was like 16,000 in line to go get a Knicks ticket. So that just I think it actually might be even more than that. I might be even misspoken on that. So with that being said, and why I did say that is that because if you haven't done so already, go get your tickets to go to the KFTV watch party if it hasn't sold out already. All right, so make sure to do that. If it has sold out, go sign up for the newsletter so that way you can get ready for Game 4. Okay, that's all you got to do. So that way you can go get ready, go support with the orange and blue if you haven't done so already. Watch party will be at Slate for all you people who don't know. And if you did sign up and get a ticket, remember it is at Slate. Doors will open at 7:30. So make sure to get over there on time to go get situated. Now, with that all being said, we do have some super chats. So salute to Knicks Nation for donating some more super chats over here. So let's get through that before we wrap. Shout out to Lux the Goat with the $5 super chat. Says, we haven't even been using Mo Diawara. He does very well against the Spurs too. Knicks roster is just too deep. Yeah, man, we haven't had to see Mo Diawara out there yet. Rookie. I don't think Mike Brown's really intending on using him yet unless he really needs to. I would love to see Mo out there, but at this point, haven't had the need to. But he does offer more wingspan and athleticism at the 3-4 position if needed, and he can knock down a couple threes as well. But Doesn't seem like Mike Brown wants to trust a rookie out there just yet. In the magnitude of these games, shout out to S. Gomez with the $10 super chat. He says, Game 3 is about discipline. The Garter brings the fire, but the Knicks must bring execution. Make Wemby work, own the glass, protect the ball, and let Brunson close. 2 wins away, finish the job. 100%. 100%. S. Gomez, appreciate you and your super chat for that. And shout out to Jay Black with the $5 super chat. Says, shake my hand, Knicks in 4. Cat becomes a dog in Game 3. Finals MVP. Ooh, he's calling Karl-Anthony Towns to be Finals MVP. Hey, look, he's on that path right now. He is on that path right now. By the way, he's been playing games 1 and 2. But let's see how Game 3 plays out tomorrow. Remember, it's 0-0 tomorrow, as Mikal Bridges said. Knicks need to stay focused, take care of their business. Can't get too high, can't get too low. It is an important game. Every game is a must-win for the New York Knicks and even for the Spurs. All right. So salute to all Knicks Nation, even Spurs Nation. I know you're all out there in the background, man. Y'all just didn't want to comment in the chat, and I get that. I understand why. I understand why. But make sure that thumbs up button for your boys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We'll be back tomorrow. There'll be play-by-play, and we got, of course, post-game. So make sure to stay tuned in and locked into this channel. We'll catch you all tomorrow, people. We out. Are we still live? I'm taking a guess that we're still live here.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yep. CP, where'd you go?
He fell asleep.
CP left us, man. He left us stranded. He left us stranded.
Man, CP.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
It's going to be one of the blooper reel after from the off season.
This wouldn't be the first time either. This would not be the first time either.
All right. Well, I'll tell your Knicks fans good luck. Game 3. Go Spurs. But may the best team win, man. See y'all after Game 3, buddy. All right. Talk to you later, Alex.
Later, Jeff. Peace. Let's keep going. Y'all are funny, man. We won't let the dead air keep going. Says let's keep going. Respect to Jeff. Jeff had to drop because he has business to take care of. This is funny as all hell, people. Funny as all hell. Oh man. So let's talk it up, I guess, people, before we let it all wrap. All right. What do y'all got to say in the chat? What are we all thinking? How are we all feeling for Game 3 tomorrow? We all